Your thumbnail A/B tests are useless. Yeah, A/B testing is a waste of your time. Okay, let me kind of give you some context here, because you are probably wondering, but A/B tests let me figure out what's the best click-through rate and how to get the most of my audience to click on my video. Especially now that YouTube's now including a built-in A/B testing feature, it's going to be a better result for my YouTube channel, right? It's actually a little bit more complex than that, and it's not what you expect. Now, I put a question out there in Discord, and I was actually kind of shocked at the response that I got. More than, or at least about 50% of people who voted don't even know how to do A/B testing correctly. And they don't even know that A/B testing is actually broken on YouTube right now. So the issue here is, like I asked, your A/B test on YouTube is doing 5% better than the next test. So your best thumbnail is performing 5% better in the first 12 hours of your video. Do you stop the test and just pick the winner now, or wait until later? I'm surprised that not a lot of people even kind of responded to it saying, but why are you A/B testing in the first place? People naturally are assuming that now that the A/B test feature is available on YouTube, that they should just use it. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that you should probably stop using it, and here's why. Now, some of the information I'm about to highlight is taken from Wano on YouTube. Fantastic guy on strategy. If you want to follow him on Twitter, it's a fantastic place to kind of absorb YouTube data and strategy analytics. I strategize a lot of my results and videos that I create based on past data. And so Wano just put out a fantastic post about A/B testing on YouTube, and some of the information that I'm going to go over is from his tweet. So you probably are wondering, I did A/B testing, I got the winner, but my video is flatlining. It's not getting any more impressions. Whereas maybe a thumbnail A/B test that I didn't do, I just put a thumbnail on a video and it skyrocketed, got amazing views. Let's say it hit, broke 1 million views and then kind of started to flatline there. That's where A/B testing is really going to be powerful. Now, one thing to consider is when you A/B test a thumbnail, generally speaking, people are going to do a very specific thumbnail for their niche, maybe one that's a bit more broad, that's reaching a larger audience, and one that's maybe either in between or just completely out there, right? And so the issue with this is that YouTube is choosing the winner of a thumbnail based on the retention that your thumbnail is getting on that video. So YouTube's trying to decide if the expectations for the video was set up correctly by the thumbnail, which means that there's longer retention, your audience is watching longer, which means YouTube's going to pick the one that gets better retention. However, YouTube is not taking into account the click-through rate, which is really what's going to help you get a video more viral. So for example, if you're picking a thumbnail that your core audience is going to click, but maybe a larger audience that you're trying to address is not going to click on it, that's why your video is going to die. Because number one, you're going to get better audience retention from a thumbnail that's better for your core audience, getting higher audience retention on your video. But then when YouTube starts to promote that to a larger audience that don't care about that thumbnail, that video is going to die. So it's going to get initial growth and then just kind of flatline, or kind of maybe grow over time a little bit, meaning that your video is going to die, 7 days after it's posted. Whereas if you're posting a video with a thumbnail that is not A/B tested, but people are going to click on this. Maybe it's not for your exact core audience, but that a larger audience is going to click on it and get results and it's going to go viral. That's what's going to cause your video to actually get attention, even if maybe less of your core audience is going to click on it. But when YouTube is going to start to kind of recommend it to a larger audience, you are going to start to get more clicks because it's obviously optimized to get a better click-through rate. Now, this is obviously under the assumption that your video is good. Naturally, you've got to have a good video. Otherwise, even your core audience, if they don't watch it and don't like it, they're going to send that signal to YouTube, and YouTube's going to go, oh, it's not a good video. I'm not even going to recommend it to a larger audience. So I love Wano's example here. So he's posted a thumbnail, 3 of these thumbnails, and he goes, which thumbnail is going to win? Now, I'm going to let you also decide here which thumbnail is going to win. Based on what you think is going to be the best on this video. It's probably pretty obvious, right? The one on the far right where you see the whole house, $30,000, fantastic. However, let's say that your channel is also geared a little bit towards the sponsor of this video, which I think, did he mention? He mentioned it somewhere, the car brand. I'm not good with cars, but it looks like a Rolls-Royce. Very expensive car. I think they were the sponsor of the video. That is probably why it's in the thumbnail and why it's going to perform better with your core audience who may be more car enthusiasts than wanting to look at the entire building. So for example, a car enthusiast might click on these two videos because the car is featured. In fact, probably this one since it's closer, bigger in the thumbnail. Whereas people who are just interested in the one on the right where it's more general home real estate, they're going to click on this. Less car enthusiasts are going to click on this. However, you're probably going to be able to address a larger audience because of this thumbnail. Now, that's the issue with this is like once you use a thumbnail that's more targeted to your core audience or a different core audience within the niche, you may not be able to address as large of an audience using a thumbnail like this because generally more people are going to click on the one on the right. And so this is the issue with current YouTube A/B testing. YouTube's not basing it off of click-through rate, they're basing it off of average view duration. Naturally, if you're going to reach a larger audience that maybe isn't quite specific to your channel, but you're optimizing for views, those viewers will be giving you less audience retention, which means that YouTube's going to see less people may be interested in this, but it's getting more views. It's naturally going to compensate in terms of watch time, but also it's going to give you more views and also potentially more revenue because it's getting those views. It's going to help your channel grow faster. You're going to get less views with a more specific targeted video, for example, the two on the left, because there's not going to be as many people clicking on it, but you'll get more watch time and average view duration because maybe it's more specific to the audience. It obviously depends on the topic and the content, but that's generally why A/B testing on YouTube is currently a little bit broken. So you can see Warner did a fantastic graphic here where the two thumbnails on the left are more niche and specific to a subcategory of the niche, whereas the one on the right is more a larger reach of your audience. It's less specific, which naturally means obviously you're going to get less watch time per viewer on the more reach thumbnail, so the one on the far right, as opposed to the one on the left where you're more specific to the target audience. You're going to get better watch time, but you're going to get less views as a result. And so you've got to consider what you're targeting and where you're going. With more watch times, obviously you're going to get more revenue per 1,000 views, but you're going to need a lot more views in order to compensate for the other one where you're getting a lot of views, you're generating a lot of revenue, but you may not be getting as much watch time. So that's something you got to really consider. If you're doing a thumbnail and if you were to A/B test them, one thing I would do is aim for reach, but also aim sort of in the middle here where you can have a thumbnail that's sort of targeted between reach and niche. That's going to be a lot more tricky. If you have a more niche thumbnail, the one on the far left here, and a more reach thumbnail on the far right, that you could see like massive differences between the two. And you could do A/B testing with that and see what your audience retention results are, and you'll probably see it'll be pretty big back on the YouTube backend side of the analytics. But if your goal is to get maximum amount of views, post what you think is really going to perform well in terms of addressing your large market, the biggest market you can possibly get in terms of views. So one thing you've really got to consider when it comes to thumbnail A/B testing is what is your click-through rate? Because ultimately, right now, I think click-through rate should be optimized more instead of average view duration, unless average view duration is your goal and that's something that you want to work towards, and maybe views aren't everything to you. Maybe you don't mind getting less views, but still getting better audience retention and trying to convert that audience into a paying customer. That's going to be a different story. But if you're optimizing for views because maybe you get lower RPMs, you're naturally going to have to optimize for more views. And so optimizing for click-through rate is going to be better. So I've used platforms like, I think it's called abtest.com or something, external testing websites where they change the thumbnail for a particular period of time. They measure the click-through rate there. Then the next period of time, they test the other thumbnail, and you can do, I think, as many as you want. It's just got to cycle through all of them to make a full circle back to the first one. But that's going to be the best way, at least right now, until YouTube changes this, the best way to A/B test your thumbnails to decide which is getting the best click-through rate, not that best average view duration, which is what YouTube's current A/B testing feature prioritizes. So hopefully this helps. If you want to learn more about all this kind of stuff, I do have 7 days of free coaching in the description. Feel free to check it out before I start to charge for it, because I don't know why it's free right now, but you get 7 days of free coaching from me. And if you want to learn more about how to choose the best niches, the top 5 best niches in YouTube automation, feel free to check the video over here before it disappears. I'll see you in that video. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.